Live.
420.
Sorry.
Happy New Year!
What's up, everybody? We are absolutely live right now.
Live and direct.
On Facebook, we can only see us three, but we are accompanied by OG Cannabis Products.
Hello.
They're hanging out to the side.
Oh, hello.
Excuse our temporary camera system right now. We'll be upgrading that. We just kind of wanted to come on quick. First podcast, Utah Cannabis Church, episode 1.
Yep.
After years, we're awake.
Right.
Eyes open.
Right. Exactly. Introduction. Right here.
So
left.
welcome, everybody. My name's Tyson with Beehive Buds CBD. I am the community advocate for our business, and that's what I like to do. I like to be in the community and communicate with everybody and just show up, show out, and be there. But yeah, I'm from Utah. I was born in Lehigh. I grew up here. I lived in multiple different parts of Utah, but I live in Pleasant Grove now. We've been in business for about 3 years now, and we've been pushing forward in regards to cannabis activism ever since. I absolutely love helping patients in regards to moving them away from pharmaceuticals if possible, and helping them with a more natural way of treating any of their ailments or illnesses, using plant medicines in regards to cannabis and CBD, all the other cannabinoids, including THC. That's one of my passions, and I'd love to continue to share that information more with you and answer any questions you guys have. So I'm happy to be here. Autumn, take over. I know,
y'all.
Tim. Sorry, Tim.
It's okay, I'll wake him up.
Okay.
Get that guy Red Bull.
It happens.
She gets nervous,
Yeah.
you know.
What's that called? Narcolepsy?
Yeah.
Narcolepsy? I have a medical cannabis narcolepsy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's ignited
What
by
happened?
Tyson.
I smoke uncontrollably, and then all of a sudden I just pass out.
It's indica-induced narcolepsy.
Yeah.
Indica.
Indica-induced narcolepsy.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Autumn.
Hi, I'm Autumn, and I'm a woman in cannabis. And
Yes.
it is an interesting place to be in time and space, everything going on in the world. And
Sorry.
Why would you do that? You interrupted.
I'm trying to share the video to all of our platforms. So if you guys are watching right
my
now,
cackle, that was good.
help me out.
That was
share
your
the
good
video.
cackle.
That was a good cackle.
That was a great cackle.
I thought I was hearing shit. I was like, did someone put something in my drink? I was like,
A lot of
looking in
that
there. Freaking LSD,
This is
dude.
another part of my
What
life.
is this?
Jesus.
All right.
Take 2.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so interesting time to be alive. It's interesting to be a woman in cannabis right now. It's interesting even more so to be a woman in cannabis in Utah.
Ooh.
And I am seeing a lot of things going on in the industry right now that nobody is talking about, and there is a call for the community to come together, and it's even deeper than cannabis, right? It's about healing, and our mission at Beehive Buds is community, healing community, and that's really what we're all about, and that's why I'm here, because these people are my community, and they're healing community with me, and bienvenidos.
Dude,
That's awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
That's
sharing
pretty
that.
good.
I think
I didn't even
you're
practice
amazing.
that.
Girl
Thank
power,
you.
dude.
Yeah.
Girl
Yeah.
power. Girl power.
Thank you, Autumn.
you made
You're
me feel
amazing.
empowered. Thank
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You make me feel empowered. That's
Oh,
the way it should
I
be.
think you're pretty cool.
Yeah. Neat.
Anyways, these guys, these fools.
Man.
This fool.
I'm my name's Tim Fratto, Jr.
June.
Yeah, Junior. Owner operator of Healing of Nation, and
Yeah.
I am an activist. I'm a grower, medical patient, and I'm here to speak the good word of the plant, and that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to talk a lot about.
Did you say taco?
taco?
Taco.
We're,
Oh.
see,
I love tacos.
it's not even Tuesday yet, and
We're gonna talk
we're
about
already
it.
getting tacos. But this channel is going to be interesting because my activism has been very strong for quite some time, and it's been quite, like Autumn would say, antagonistic at times.
Yeah.
But that's the way I am, and I'm here just to educate and help people. So, and that's all I'm really going to say about that. But then we can move on. Because I don't want to talk about myself too much.
Happy
Well,
New
I
Year,
wish you
William.
would.
I know, but we'll get into that
Let's
later.
hear
There's
more about
a
you
lot of
later.
stuff, you know. There's
Oh, we
a
go
lot
on
of
a
stuff.
taco lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tacos.
So we go on to eat tacos too.
Been growing cannabis for over 30
Yeah.
years. I'm a breeder. Been growing for about 20. Breeding for 20 years. Making concentrates for 15. Magnitude from, you name it, from isolate to distillate to CO2 to RSO to fecal oil. Figuring out what makes the grass grow and then ultimately coming up with a non-solventless product. Something that's great and wonderful, and we'll talk about that later. But I've been doing a lot of things, and I'm just blessed to be back here in Utah. I'm a native of Utah. I was born in Banifal and resided in South Salt Lake till 1989. Moved to Oregon, and then moved back here, back and forth from Oregon to grow and learn about the plant and how to help people. And I'm, again, so happy to be here. I've met these wonderful human beings that I'm sitting next to, and I'm just very, very proud to sit next to these people because they're real. And there's no fake about what we do or what we're talking about right now. We're live. This is something that we've been talking about and wanting to do for quite some time, and I'm just blessed to be here with you guys. So, thank you.
Me as well.
We're
Thank
blessed
you
to
so
have
much.
you here, I think.
Yeah.
I guess that me?
Yeah.
Me
Also,
now?
yep.
Yeah.
Let's introduce the OG Cannabis Products girls. We have Sarah and we have Carly. You want to take a few moments and introduce yourselves?
You know what? Even better. I want you guys to introduce each other.
All right.
Is that cool?
Oh, yes. That'll be amazing. Everybody.
All right, here we go.
I want to introduce you to the mastermind genius, alchemist, smarty mess, everything you can think of behind everything that is OG. That would be Sarah. She is amazing. She's a smart woman. She's been doing this for many years. One time, I'll tell you a crazy story. We've known each other a really long time. A really long time. She showed up to my apartment one time, and she had been, I think, hitchhiking across the country, and so she had just got into it and lost like a lot of stuff. Like someone came at her, and she came at them, and she kicked their ass, and like they took a lot of her personal items, and she's like, "I am at this bus stop. Will you please come pick me up?" And I picked her up, and she had all these incredible edibles that she had just made down in Colorado. And she like took it out of her day
Take
and out
the
of her
leave
time.
the brownies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She baked for those edibles. They took everything else but those edibles, and she fought for them. And she's just
Don't
been
take my
fighting.
medicine from me.
Yeah,
Just don't
and
take my
she
medicine
has
from
been
me.
Right.
fighting ever since. And that's one thing I love most about Sarah is that she is the most driven person I have ever met. Like, she gets a fire started, and then the whole thing is in flames. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I look forward to many more exciting adventures with OG and Sarah, the owner of OG Cannabis Products.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Woohoo!
Yeah,
Cool.
and this is my partner in crime, Carly. Like I call her for every golden feather favor that I need and crazy adventure that I'm going on. She's the first one I invite because I know she's down. She's so down. And God, I could not have done anything with OG like it's been without Carly. She's been the backbone, driven, getting it done, don't take that break kind of girl. And we've known each other for a long time. Like I said, she's the person that I will call when I am in a pinch. And she always comes through for me every time, no matter what it is. Have a brand new baby on my hip? Yep, I'll come get you. Where you at? But what are we doing today?
That's good.
So
Yes,
she's
which has
my-
gotten us to where we are today now, which is launching our own products. So
Yeah.
And what product is
anytime.
that? What do we got?
You'll have to wait and find out.
Oh, I tried to get it out of her. She's good.
See?
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of stuff.
I don't know.
I tried to get her medicated for True Serum, but it does the opposite. The opposite. So when
It
you
is
smoke
locked.
cannabis, instead of tell us a little bit about yourself. When you drink alcohol, people just start spilling their guts, and then you give them weed and they get quiet and they're like, "Are you a cop?"
You're gonna have to inception this.
Yeah.
That's right.
So listen, this channel is going to be projected. I know the title of this channel is Utah Cannabis Church, and people are going to be wondering, is this a religious thing? Why did you call it a church? Why are we calling this a church? Where did church come from?
Why is that, Tim?
What
Why
is
is
a
that?
church even?
What is
guys?
a church?
Okay,
What
yeah, what is a
exactly
church,
is-
We have
right?
a lot of churches in Utah.
Right.
What is a church though?
A lot of churches
I think a church is a place to
Ooh.
come and
congregate.
congregate,
Yeah,
to maybe worship,
Right.
to maybe join in prayer,
Right.
to join
Song.
in song,
Mhm.
yeah,
and maybe break bread together in some sort of way. That
Right.
could be some form of church.
right. And
Right?
and more importantly is that every day or every time you congregate, and I know Utah's always been a religious place, not only for the Mormon church and other churches alike, but
Ancestral.
yeah,
Utah is
you don't-
spirited.
you don't
yeah.
know who you're going to
Yes.
run into that day. There could be somebody going through some hardship, or somebody going through just a horrible day, or maybe they just are curious about what this place is. Why are all these people congregating together and believing in the same thing? And so that's kind of the backbone or the background of not only this activist channel, and we're going to get into that a little bit more about Utah. Everything Utah cannabis, medical cannabis, recreational cannabis, marijuana, herb, whatever you want to call it. But more importantly, recently, we have created the first ever registered nonprofit cannabis church here in Utah.
Yay! Woo!
Registered, and to a lot of people may be sitting back thinking, what? No way.
How could they do that?
How could they do that? There's no such
Let's
thing.
make believe.
It's not make
It
believe.
is true.
It's true.
It is true.
Can
everybody.
confirm, folks.
Yeah,
Can
you
confirm.
can confirm. So it's a nonprofit. This
Early stages, people.
yeah, early, but
Ground, grassroots.
yeah. But so now that we're in the midst of a pandemic here and everything is kind of going in this weird direction, virtually we can still congregate together, and that's what this channel is for, and this is what this page is for. And we're going to be doing a lot more of these podcasts, and this is a true podcast, and we're going to be mobile with it. We're going to be talking to a lot of people. We're going to be inciting positive riots, if you will, not malicious ones. There may be things on here that you may disagree with, and we love that, and we want good feedback about that. We're going to be bringing on guests, just like the OG cannabis girls here, and we're going to get into them.
Thank you,
and
both
talk
of
to them.
you, for hosting us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here on location,
Right,
guys.
I was gonna say we should
They
talk
have this
about where we're
beautiful
at.
place, and it is absolutely just. I come in here, and it's just. I can look around for a while.
Yeah, it's a mecca.
So
I can-
William says, that sounds like a church I would attend.
See?
Oh,
Yeah.
come
So
on
we have
over.
a new member.
So I want to make something real clear, though, too, because of the laws that are so strict here in Utah.
Specific.
We want to be specific about what we're actually going to be doing. This isn't a free-for-all, and we have to be organized, and we got to be respectful not only to the community but to
Spirit.
people that are around us. And
Yeah.
this is for medical marijuana patients.
Yeah.
This church is designed for these individuals. The medical marijuana program here in Utah is strong and thriving, though we have some hurdles, and we're going to talk about that today as well, with these new laws being implicated of specific people that are can and can't do certain things. But this church that we have created for the people, by the people, if you will, is for medical marijuana patients. You have to have an actual card and to congregate. There will be a brick and mortar place for this congregation, but for right now it's virtually. We have plans on opening up, have a date for you in the future, but
What is
all
that date?
all medical 420 420.
Hey, 420.
Yeah.
420.
So we will be having medical marijuana patients. Only medical marijuana patients can congregate at this time because of the specific laws. We do want to follow all regulation and guidelines, and of course, again, being in the midst of a pandemic, we really want to make sure that we're social distancing and making sure that we're wearing masks and all that good stuff. I know I'm not wearing a mask, but I'm not going to right now because I have a medical condition that enables me to wear one. It's called woke.
Mine is just asthma, but
Yeah. How about yours? Why aren't you wearing a mask?
I really don't want to mess up my mustache.
I love that. There you go. No, we're just kidding. We're going to be safe, guys.
We'll be
Everything's
safe.
good. We all checked each other's temperatures in here, and if we had any kind
Yeah,
of
we
symptoms,
run this joint, and
Yeah.
so like we wear masks
Yeah.
because we got to protect everybody who comes in here who doesn't want to.
So
wear
we are
masks.
closed today here. The OG girls are just allowing us to come in here and facilitate ourselves with this introduction and stuff like that. If not, and there were people in here, we would all be messed up. So we don't want to get anybody in violation. That's not what we're saying. I'm just a rebel. I like to talk crap, and that's just the way I am. But I can honestly tell you that when you do come to the OGs, they are masked up. They do follow all state-regulated guidelines. And so, but today we're just kind of hanging out here for the first of January, dude.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
It is.
What'd you do, sir?
What, this morning?
Yeah, no, last night.
Last night.
How was it? How was it?
Yeah, we
Last
do.
night.
Oh, you don't have to give like, you know.
Last night, well, yeah, last night, like we,
Sure.
partied like rock stars, and
Nice.
I ended up falling asleep, and the kids came and woke me up for New Year's.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then we went out on the porch, watched fireworks, and banged on pots and pans to piss off all my neighbors.
I couldn't like fireworks.
Congratulations. What?
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know. I bought a bunch of fireworks. I was really stoked. I called Tyson.
Yeah.
I was like, I got
Yeah.
fireworks, dude.
All
I got
I'm talking
fireworks,
about.
dude. And he's like, okay, dude, that ain't that normal. And in Oregon, it's like strictly forbidden because of all the woods,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, dude, I got fireworks. And I went up there, and then my buddy goes, I'm pretty sure you can't light those past Wasatch Boulevard. And I'm like, because I live up there on the mountain.
Ugh.
And I was
Yeah.
like, shut up, dude. I'm lighting them anyways. And he's like, dude, they'll come and get you. And I was like, damn it. So I called the unified non-emergency number.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, yeah, you can't light fireworks out there. Anything past Wasatch Boulevard.
Why don't you
towards the
just go
mountain.
somewhere else and like them?
I was gonna.
I was
I
gonna.
bet you're a little upset.
I was
Yeah.
gonna do it.
I wasn't upset. I was just kind of
We
disappointed.
can save them for Sarah's birthday. It's the
There you
4th of July.
Yeah.
What?
Or the
No
Chinese
way.
New Year.
And I live
Yeah.
right across the street from a park where everybody goes to
Yeah.
blow up shit anyway.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds like your night was awesome.
segue.
Yeah.
What is OG Cannabis Products? Can you just?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
Wait.
a very
Before
good
we do
question.
that, okay, so we know what OG. A lot of people do know what OG. I want to hear this because this is one question I don't want to forget, and I hate to keep butting in, but let me start from the beginning. Like, what made you girls? Like, what was the spark? Like, what really kicked your guys' butt? Got you in gear to do what this OG line?
I would probably have to say Harley.
Harley was the
Was a
deciding
pretty big,
factor.
yeah.
Like Carly and I were both patients, as it were, and we have every faith in the ability of the plant to heal us and to control what's going on with our bodies. So when my daughter was diagnosed, she was diagnosed with a spinal condition and had to have a spinal fusion, grafts, the whole deal. And it was a lot of pain. Like they
You can
severed
see her page
every
on
nerve in her
Facebook
back,
too.
and so the back to
Yeah,
her.
if you can
And
go,
then
you
18
can
months
look at
later-
the X-rays and everything of
Yeah.
Harley's back and what they've done. And
Yeah.
there's a page out there that you guys can go check out. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Harley's
Harlequin's
Recovery.
Kyphosis
Yeah.
recovery, something like that. But recovery journey, I think is what it is.
Yeah, it's
But
really
yeah.
cool. But
It's pretty cool. But she was doing a lot of pain. We had to have a follow-up surgery and remove some of the hardware like 18 months after that, and so that was hard again because all the nerves that were healing got cut again. And so there's like a lot of neuropathy. She suffers a lot of pain. Like they rebuilt her spine and her lungs were compressed. So there's just a lot going on. Her hips were off kilter. Like there's just a lot going on. And she didn't want to be on the pain prescription pills, and they would have written it for her all day, every day. She would have been given all sorts of narcotics, and but she didn't like it. She didn't like the way it was making her feel. She didn't like that she was unaware. She was like a zombie, and she didn't like it. And so like the only thing I had to offer at the time was CBD, and I was like, this works for me. This works for my pain. This works for me. Like, let's try it.
A full
And-
spectrum.
Yeah, full spectrum CBD. And we were working on scar salve and pain salves and just soaks for her and, finding things that worked for her to manage her pain and to give her some relief. So that's kind of the catalyst for us was that surgery, essentially. Yeah. And like as patients, we use those products, we handed them out to people that were in need of that. And I think when we decided that we should really make this into a business is like Carly started having people come knock at her door being like, can I buy more of that? like that really was great. Can I have more? Can I get more? Yeah, where can I get
Well,
it?
I mean, we were playing
So-
experimental kitchen for a really long time, and we would make a lot of really good batches of stuff that we were just playing around with. I call them old hippie recipes because it's just like Sarah pulling them out of, I don't know. I have no idea. She's like, oh, a dash of this and a pinch of this and a splash of this, and it's magic.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So I actually have an encyclopedia set of holistic herbs and uses and different salves to make. And things
It all
like
makes
Put it all
sense.
in
It's
there.
just crazy, right? It all makes sense.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So all sorts of different things, but we reference that encyclopedia quite often. It's a loved book, let's say. So
Well, I tell you what, the wealth of experience that I've witnessed here, not only at OG, but the conversations that we have surpassed a lot of other people. With Utah being so new, I know that we can sit together like this and have intellectual conversations.
yeah.
And that's really, really rare right now in Utah. So that's something, in my opinion, that you guys bring to the table is expertise, dude. Expertise from both of you guys.
Yeah.
Rock and rolling. From what she does to you do. And every time I come in here, you guys got new innovative ideas. And I really do think that you guys are the CBD. I've been around, and I'm not saying that there's not really good CBD companies out there in Utah. There's a lot of CBD companies out there that are doing wonderful things, okay? But what I'm talking about is there's always this kind of like unforeseen pecking
We're
order.
like, I won.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And where you can go to get the highest intellect.
Yep.
And right now in this place, because you guys are processors now.
We
Yeah.
are processors.
That's the top of the food chain.
Dude,
in my opinion, that's where
it's
everything
less than
goes.
one-page list of processors who have permits.
Yeah.
How many?
We're on it. I'm not sure. I haven't counted, but it's less than a page long.
There you go.
Landscape-wise.
Right? yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
When I think about it, it's like the state of Utah in my youth. Like, sitting in rehab, right? And they like made me do rehab when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now they've granted me a permit to process cannabis.
Yeah.
Oh, how the tides change.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the tides change.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
so
pretty
real.
sure, like, she told me probably about a year ago, in 4 months, we were going to be launching this business, like, actually launching it in April of 420. And then she told me in April when we launched it virtually, she's like, oh, in about 2 years, think of having like a store and a place where we can process our own products, Carly, and where we can teach people how to cook and where we can host events and have people come and do their podcasts and stuff. I was like, you are absolutely crazy. She had 2 years done in 6 months.
Yep.
In
But that's
6
because of the
months, she
community. That's
accomplished
because of how much
like what
support
she had
we
set out to do
throughout
in
the
2
community.
years,
Like,
opening
everyone lifted us up.
OG. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we had a lot of people help us and stuff, but like the things that we've accomplished with OG and the help of everybody and everyone's support and Sarah's mastermind, like that's OG.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, come check out how amazing this place is because it's nothing but love here. We just
Yeah.
love everything that we do. We love helping people. We love changing the world, making a stance. We're going to go march the state. So like,
Yeah.
let's go. You know, we're ready to party.
I have to honestly tell you that because coming here to your guys' place is the reasoning for this podcast.
Nice.
I'm not
Oh.
kidding. Because of the conversations that we have in the back room.
We do
And we
have
talk
a lot
about
of
this-
good conversations.
Sometimes we get very medicated and go to a higher intellect. You know, when you
do.
consume cannabis and you accept it into your heart and into your body and into your mind, and you start to open up your doors of perception. Some of my best ideas have came under the consumption of such a wonderful plant because I use it every day as meditation, just not only for pain and for my illness in which I'm using it for. And this intellectual conversations that we have in the back room talking about activism and the things that we're talking about today is the basis and the foundation. One of them, along with Tyson and I talking, we've been wanting to do this for a while, but it really progressively put this forward in the back room here at OG. And those kinds of conversations wouldn't happen if you don't create those places that those things can exist. And so
Congregation.
the congregation of that, and that's the basis of what Autumn and I have put together when we built the nonprofit for this congregation mentality of this church, to actually have a cannabis church in a place where it's been strictly taboo. If you were to have a roach, and if anybody doesn't know what a roach is, it's a marijuana joint that has residuals its way back by the accommodation of
When the
smoking,
medicine's
right?
gone in.
So having just a roach in general would put you in jail. You could be incarcerated, fined up to thousands of dollars, and even put in prison. And there's people today, right now, still right down the way here, about 45 minutes away, if that are sitting in a jail cell for a plant that looks just like this behind us. Okay, and that's ridiculous. And so, because of OG Cannabis and because of Tyson and Autumn and like-minded individuals, these podcasts are going to be coming forth. And right now, I don't know if anybody's really doing too many podcasts. There's a couple people out there talking about cannabis and talking about marijuana in Utah, but not actually talking about the base and fundamentals of what it takes to either acquire a card and or keep this progressive growth going forward. Because just creating a place like this is only part of the pie. We have to keep this going. We have to feed this monkey.
Well,
and, and it has to keep going, and that's what we're doing.
I want to hit on that too, because I want to talk a minute about cannabis and plants and plant medicine and, you know, our earth and just the way our bodies work organically, you know. I'm always so surprised because I have been studying the human body and plants for, you know, a huge majority of my life. And I love the idea of community. That's like, those are my things, you know? And when I bring it together and see what's been created here in just the little bit of time that a ballot initiative went into play, and people said, oh, you're not going to get that. And then it happened, and there was this surprise, and, you know, to now, sitting here with you guys, you know, it's spirit. It really is about spirit. It's about, you know, us coming together as a community and claiming the power we have to heal ourselves, the power we have to come together as a community and heal each other, and not having to turn to corporations or government organizations to do that, but to be able to stabilize in our own communities and be sustainable, not just individually, but collectively. And so this is really going to be church.
It already is.
I want to make that really clear. Like, yeah, this is church.
Yeah.
If you've never been to church before, this is going to be church.
And I know that might turn a lot of people off when you say, oh gosh, church, another church, that's what we need. This church is different. It's not based around one religion. It's based around you. It's based around the plant. It's based around the collective nature of bringing it in. Like, you know, when a lot of people speak, they don't say happy birthdays. They say happy earth strong, because you're pulling from the earth. Everything comes from the earth. We come from the earth, and we consume such a wonderful plant. So you're right. That spirit is going to keep this going in a progressive motion, and it's going to outgrow all of us. But again, I just can't believe we actually did it.
Yeah.
Backstory about it is, I didn't even know. We had a conversation. Conversation.
Right.
We talk. And
The first conversation?
when was the first conversation?
I was sitting in a line, a coffee. I was getting Dutch Bros. I'm a fiend for Dutch Bros, right?
I've never
And
been
so-
there.
Oh my god, so good.
I was in coffee. I was in the
Go
line.
back.
The line was like 45 minutes, and I'm thinking in my head,
Go check it out. They're awesome.
I'm
Sponsored by.
yeah,
Dutch Bros, hit us
so
up.
I'm sitting there, and I'm probably like, you know, medicated. And I'm thinking, because I'm going to another place in my head, and I'm thinking, how dumb are you to sit in line and wait for a cup of coffee? And I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right. There's two lines, and I'm like, you've been sitting here forever. Like, what is wrong with you? And that's really the unique thing I like about cannabis is when you consume cannabis, it reveals you to your true self. It allows you to break yourself down and ask yourself questions, observe what's going on, and answer those questions. And that's how you fix things in your body and your mind. And that's spiritually what cannabis can do.
Well, what are you doing when
So-
you smoke cannabis? You have to breathe.
Yeah,
You have to breathe. You have to slow down and breathe.
right. And so I'm sitting in this line, and then I'm thinking, you know, well, it's not all about me and the coffee. Dutch Bros was created by two guys out of Grants Pass, Oregon, that was right around the way from where I was living in Bend, and his brother Dane died of multiple sclerosis. multiple sclerosis took Dane's life. Dane didn't get to see this progressive growth of this wonderful franchises that were being built for this coffee, and I'm sitting in line, and I'm thinking, I support Dane, and I support multiple sclerosis because I've treated hundreds and maybe even thousands of people with multiple sclerosis. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, this idea just came to me about the church, Utah Cannabis Church. Why can't we have a cannabis church here in Utah?
Well, we
And then-
can, and we do.
Yeah, and then so that's why I called. That's when I called you guys. I called Tyson
And we will.
because I call this guy every day. I try to at least, and I call him up. Sometimes, most of the time, he doesn't
They're so
answer.
annoying.
Sometimes I don't answer.
He don't
'cause,
answer my phone call.
He's brushing that mustache.
I'm brushing my mustache.
Yeah.
And my kids are really loud, so.
Yeah. But yeah,
I have
and then I
PTSD from that.
and I hit
so.
you guys with it, the Utah Cannabis.
Oh yeah, I remember the first conversation. We were at our kitchen table, and I was actually
It was speakerphone. Remember?
yeah, it was speakerphone. And Tim hates when we do that, but we love it. So fuck off.
Oh,
Pardon my French.
horrible.
Um,
Please speak more.
but yeah, so Tim throws out this idea, and I'm like, holy shit. And I think back to the moment that I met Tim.
Oh God. Do we gotta warm with this
You wanna
shit?
get
Oh
to
no, let's hear
He
it.
called
I
me
am
in
very
person?
curious.
No.
How?
You're talking about
How
over the
did
phone.
you meet
I met
Tim?
him over the phone, actually.
Okay.
He
Oh,
called
okay.
me.
Yeah, it was a
Real
cannabis
motherfucker over here.
cannabis dating site. She was like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I was looking for men in cannabis.
just kidding.
That's
Pods
another
for
podcast.
stoners.
Stay
No,
tuned.
yeah.
I was actually on Facebook. I was sitting in my processing kitchen in Oregon making tincture, and I came across Beehive Buds, and then she had made a comment on some Utah cannabis group that I was on. I don't even know what group it was.
It was a national group.
I think it was.
Yeah.
And then I had called you, and then that's when you were having the symposium last November.
No.
Was
Well,
it?
we had it
Last
in March.
March.
Last March.
March.
Was it last March?
Right
March,
before
yeah.
COVID
Right before
hit.
COVID hit.
Right before
It was
shutdown.
actually the week before shutdown.
You're right.
We launched two things:
'Cause
a
my
symposium
bad.
and Sacred Journey.
Yeah, because we even had a party after then too,
Yeah.
and it was a great, wonderful party. And then the next
And then the
week,
next day it was like,
completely
oh, shut down.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, talking to this guy over the phone, I just came straightforward like I do, and I told him what I was doing, and he was like, "That's what I want to do." And from there on,
Wait.
I was like, "I want to
No,
help people."
I'm pretty sure you agree with me. I didn't agree with you.
We agreed with each other.
No, you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Don't
she
get
was like,
flustered
"That's
now.
what I want to
Okay,
do."
cement.
You can't
There's
say
a
that.
lot of agreement.
Semantics,
Well,
guys.
we just started talking, and it was just clear to me what he was doing is what I wanted to do, and what I was doing here is what he wanted to bring here, and it was just like from that moment, I was just aligned. I went home and I told Tyson, "Hey, I just talked to this guy. I don't know if he's real or not, but I was like, I think our lives just
Things
changed."
are about to change.
I was
So
like,
right.
I feel like our lives just changed.
I felt the same way.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really just a beautiful moment. And then when I met him in person, he was the first one to show up. He was, it was interesting because you committed, but I freaked out at that lady at the St. George Women's Convention.
Yeah, you're on the
She got on
microphone.
stage.
Yeah, I
and
got pissed off and I stood up for women and
Good.
That was one of the things that attracted me to you
business.
too.
I don't ever do that. I am so
That was huge, I
non-confrontational.
thought.
Yeah, but you're willing to stick it.
But
so
that
much.
moment, I
Yeah.
was like, man. Anyways, and then I just thought it was a really emotional experience for me because I thought I was going there to empower women, and I was in
You
this.
did.
Just to give a little bit of
What?
details, it was a huge event, supposed huge event, with so many guests promised, and it was quite a bit to set
It
up,
was
right?
it was a very the branding represented on this event was basically like hijacked from a major brand that was very well known in the community, and she
they played it off
tied
like
it
it
as
was
if it
theirs,
was that organization sponsoring this event, but she just totally
She completely
yeah.
stole the idea and tried to run with it.
And it
it put
shut down the year
everyone in
before.
shambles too. Everyone that was
Yeah.
there, they came to make money. They brought all their products. They traveled from far and wide, and it was a bust.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh,
it was
that's
not what
so
they seemed at
It was
all.
so bad.
And the way that they handled it too, when that lady was addressed with it, was what set Autumn off.
She didn't
'Cause
see
she
me. As a
didn't-
woman, she didn't see me.
she-
As a human, she
yeah.
didn't see me. And she didn't see anyone in that room, but yet she took all of our money.
Oh.
And Autumn did not stand for that.
I was
Good.
Beehive Buds did not
Anyways,
stand for that.
I was feeling kind of like
Good.
just in scrambles at that moment. I was kind of like, oh man, what did I just do? I can't believe I did that. I can't believe Inga put it on live Facebook. Holy shit, what did I just do?
We got
You
a lot
know?
of views.
And I'm like, and then Tyson's texting me, holy shit. And I'm like, oh my God, you know. And then Tim texts me, he's like, hell yeah, I'm coming to your symposium.
Nice.
Damn right.
And I was like, all right. And you know, from there, he just kept showing up, and he just kept showing up.
Yeah.
And anything that I brought to him, any question that I brought to him, any idea that I brought to him, even any just personal life advice, he's just a good dude, and I like good dudes.
Yeah.
You know, he really stands for the medicine, and you know, I've grown up around this medicine, and it was used in my home. And it's been a part of my life since I can remember. And,
Me too.
you know, I don't always fit in everywhere because of that. And,
Yep.
you know, it's really interesting because there is this intellect that Tim speaks of. And that's really where we're coming forward in this. And it's that spirit, that wisdom body that has brought all of this forward. And it's your wisdom body. It's my wisdom body. It's his wisdom body. All of our wisdom bodies connecting, and you know, we've connected on this intellectual level of understanding something really deep. And, you know, you all have your own stories, and stories are so powerful. And I know that for me, that's a big part of this is, you know, just sharing stories. And collectively, these stories, though, they all have that same essence or spirit, you know?
It is, yeah.
And I felt that from the moment I talked to this dude. And, you know, any medicine that he's given me to help somebody has helped them. And, you know, I'm not a chemist, I'm not, you know, a farmer, but I see a lot. I see a lot of things, and what I see here works, and that's what I'm about is, you know, let's treat each other well, and let's treat our bodies well, and let's consume nature.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate your kind words. You know, but to be honest with you, it's because of patience, and I know you know that, but everything that I do and everything that I've been doing for the last 20 years is because of the patience, and I can't take a lot of credit for what I've just done a lot of research and development on human beings. I opened up the first cannabis club ever in Deschutes County. If anybody doesn't know where Deschutes County is, it's approximately Central Oregon is where Deschutes County is in Bend. It's a place where I used to live. I grew to love at one time and still do, and I have a lot of friends back there. And I fell into the same kind of profile as everybody here in Utah is doing about 20 years ago. And because of patients screaming and patients yearning for this plant to be segregated in a way that's going to project it into a place where people can go to acquire medicinal cannabis in a safe environment. And it's because of the patients the reason why I am the way I am today, and that's the truth. Because sick people, you know, one time I was holding this. I didn't even do it. I was invited to this meeting with a bunch of highly sought after activists, and this gal asked me, you know, you talk in a way that pulls people to you. Can you talk a little bit about what you've been doing? And I said, yeah, I can do that, and I can talk about, you know, the advocacy of medical patients and what they actually do desire and need. And before I even started talking, I was so nervous. I remember I was looking at first, I wasn't nervous, and then there was like all of a sudden I'm starting to count all these heads, and there's like 75, 80, 95. There's like 100 people here. I'm like, whoa, this is like different. And what am I gonna say? You know? And I froze a little bit. So when I got up there, I asked one question to kind of break the ice, so that I would stop sweating profusely. And I asked everybody, I said, how many of you know someone or have somebody in your family that is sick? And every single person raised their hand. Not one person didn't raise their hand. That's an epidemic.
Yeah.
And that's why I do what I do today, I told them, is because of medical patients. There's somebody out there that's sick.
Yeah.
And they've succumbed to the pharmaceuticals and doctors and lies and deceptions of the government and other things that have pushed things in a negative way. And that's my reasoning behind what we do. And I mean, that's kind of what I want to talk about today. I want to breach into it. these new laws that just came out.
Ooh.
Did you guys take a look at some of the new laws that just got breached in 2021?
Dude,
One of the biggest.
Our own people here in Utah, our own representatives. Okay.
One of the
Ooh,
things I'm looking
yeah.
at, guys, is
Ooh.
these letters. They took away the letters.
Took away all the letters of recommendation.
Letters of recommendations. They have hurt so many people with those letters. That's hope or faith, if you will, that you can go to a QMP or your wellness center and you can get this validated letter that can push you into the next direction to get your medical marijuana card, right? And they've taken those away.
And allow you to medicate until the processing goes through.
Right?
As an example, I had my letter of recommendation, and just last night I actually got approved, and they sent me my card.
Right.
But how
Just
long
last
was it?
night. That was 6 months,
You got lucky.
or was it 4 months?
And it was just
I think it's
because
around 5 or 6 months.
it wasn't the QMP's fault. It wasn't the doctor's fault. It was on the
system
state
itself.
and the system, and it was regarding dosing. Okay, that's another
Mhm.
point of
Right.
contention right now. You know,
Right? Dosing.
your doctor can't give you a dose. The pharmacist can, the one that's paid by the dispensary.
But why?
Why isn't that a conflict of interest?
It is a conflict of interest. It only benefits those that are making the money. And I know things are going to get kind of screwy right now, and people are going to say, "Oh, here he goes again, talking about the pharmacies and dispensaries." Well, just like John Lennon said,
They're
a
following
long
the
time
program
ago,
of the state.
You follow the benefactor, and you will lead yourself in a direction of what is actually going on here in
The
Utah.
root of the problem.
And the root of the problem, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion in Utah, is profit over patience. And I keep saying this over and over again. A lot of people get upset with that terminology, and they're like, Tim, you just need to stop. We're okay. Everything's good. We got medical. Yes, it does cost a little bit of money, but everything costs. And that's bullshit. I don't believe that. I believe that everybody has the right to consume this wonderful plant. And I know that we have to go slow, and we have to do things and project things in a way that are going to make us understand that there's a little bit more legalities to these things. But taking away the paperwork or the ability for people to get this card, I mean, that's the first process in getting a card.
Yeah.
And then the system that you have to go on, I've never seen a system like that.
It's tough. Oh my god.
It's
So
elaborate.
Yeah, really
sometimes
tough.
it works great.
Let me
for
ask
some
you
people.
this: what's the process to get your card in California? What do you have to do to get?
So
your card
basically in California,
Oregon.
Okay,
either
so
one.
Oregon, California, almost the same thing. Okay, tomato. But basically, all you do in California is they actually have 1-800 numbers you can call. You call the 1-800 numbers. You could be walking down the pier. You could be walking down, and you walk into a place. You turn a corner, and you say, "Hey, I would like to acquire my medical cannabis card." And they say, "Okay, do you have any medical condition?" "Yes, I do." "What do you suffer from?" "Well, I have severe dandruff and eczema." "Okay, great. So you qualify for medical cannabis. Here's your card. Have a good day. Now you can go to the dispensaries and acquire your
But
medical
you have
cannabis."
to be proof of residency.
Yes, you do have
So
to
you have to
proof
say,
of
"Oh,
residency. Yeah.
I live in California.
Yeah.
Here's my proof of
Yeah.
residency."
You're right.
I live in Oregon. I have to have it. Because I went through that process when I was like, I think 22.
Right.
I was walking down a pier with my friends. Man,
I just described this.
Yeah, I
He's
wanna
like,
get
Daddy,
some-
no.
Yeah, that's
What the
exactly
heck?
what
And
happened.
there's a guy in a lab coat there with
He's
the
like,
green
"You
cross.
got these cards?"
"Hey, you want to get your medical card?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." And I went and started signing things up. Oh, showing my ID, and it was a Utah ID. "Oh, sorry, you can only do it if you're a resident here."
Yeah.
Rejected.
So I'm like, "Oh man, almost had it," you know.
You almost had it in the
You almost
mind. It was
had
a good
that.
call.
But let's just, like, to answer your question, it's too easy.
That's pretty
Yeah.
simple, right?
It's not. Yeah, pretty much. It's not the same here.
Yeah.
Here
Well,
it's a
too,
lot
it's
different.
just confusing to me because I'm like, is this a recreational program or is it a medical program?
Even
Because-
medical wise, like both on the programs, it's hard to get a card for either
It's,
one.
in my opinion, it's treated like the recreational
Uh-huh.
program in Utah.
Point I'm making.
But it is the
Yeah.
medical marijuana program. So they
Don't
treat
get
it recreational, and that's the way it's been from the beginning, all the way from these cartridges that everybody are being forced to smoke because you can't inhalate the flower and you can't put flame to a flower, right? So if you can't do that and you're progressively going forward again in that motion of concentrates, which concentrates up and down can be safe and not
They
safe
can
at
be
the
very
same time.
dangerous, I feel
They
like.
gain tolerances that a lot of people are not understanding. We have a big, huge problem. I was just talking at SLC Hayes about this, but hyperemesis.
Yeah.
A lot of people are over consuming, building tolerances too high, not understanding the dynamics of the plant. And so, in my opinion, when I first started like looking at these laws and the legislature laws, I'm like, wait a minute, this is something I've seen out of a recreational aspect in Oregon. They're really facilitating us to funnel or bottleneck us into only purchasing what they want us to consume. Like, we need to have the ability for every single medical marijuana patient in Utah to be able to cook their own products on their stove, consume them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't give us a spec on how tall this can be or how wide this can be. Just say if you have a medical marijuana card, you can go and do this and have the ability, most importantly, my goal in 2021, and I'm all ready to start to talk to people who are in position of power that can alter these kinds of things, is having the ability to grow your own cannabis in your household. And that's something I want to see happen in Utah. And I know a lot of people are against that, some 50-50.
That does come with a lot of hurdles.
It does come with a lot of hurdles, but at the same time,
people more.
It releases the plant to the people.
That's true.
You should never be able, you should have the right to heal yourself anytime that you want in a free society.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
You should.
Not everybody's
Amen.
going to want to go grow their pot
Amen.
or their cannabis.
Yep.
Some people are going to do it just to see if they can
You can actually do it.
Pharmacies will always have their place here, but we need to give the power of the plant to the people because we deserve that as medical patients. And if we rob that ambition from us, we only succumb to these new laws, and they're just going to keep beating down our doors to the point of no return, where we're not going to have any kind of delegation.
Let's talk about
whatsoever.
sustainability. You know, I mentioned sustainability earlier,
Right.
and being able to, you know, what if shutdowns happen? What if, you know, there's already a problem people getting flower here in Utah? What if that gets worse?
Yeah.
What if there is a time when, you know, then what, are we going to have to revise the laws then? Are we going to wait? Just one little piece, right? There's so many reasons why we have to look at that. But even going back to this medical or recreational idea, if it's a medical program, I don't know. Quality of care. Like, there's quality of care when I go to the hospital in the emergency room. And like when I get my prescription for Adderall or, you know, whatever, Oxy, all the pills out there, morphine, it comes with a specific dose and specific directions.
And who writes that dose and directions?
My doctor.
Your
Doctor.
My
doctor.
health professional.
Your doctor.
Not my pharmaceutical company.
It's the
And-
doctor you sat with.
and let's
who
even go
understood
further.
your issue.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's
Is
go
that
further.
your family doctor?
No, specialist.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's a continuing
Exactly.
prescription.
Yeah.
So my point being though is, I see pharmaceutical ads all day long. Okay, and here dispensaries aren't even allowed to advertise. So I get, you know, the whole the thing behind the dispensaries, and I wanna kind of make note of that, and that's the governing bodies, and that's the people writing the language. And I've been on a lot of calls in the past 6 months with you know, everyone from compliance officers to, you know, head of organizations like UCA, and I've been listening, and, you know, everybody is just sidetracking. It's like, okay, give us an answer on the hemp bill and flower in Utah. What's the position? Because federally, I can sell it.
But in Utah,
In Utah, you guys don't like flower. Okay, what is it then? You know, like, where are they going? And the reality is they don't know where they're going. They're pulling this up they're making it up as they go, you know, and in the end, who does that hurt?
Patients.
The
Patients.
patients and farmers, you know,
and the farmer.
And
yeah.
where the medicine comes from, all that whole situation, you know.
Yeah, no, it's true. I was just having a conversation yesterday with, I think his name's Lemley, is it, for the hemp UDAP, I think it was.
Lemley.
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm saying the wrong name, and I apologize if you're watching. But
We'll get your name later.
so
in the
basically,
comments.
basically we were talking about Delta 8 and Delta 9. So they
Oh.
want to synthesize all these products now. So basically what they want to do in the state of Utah, what they're pushing towards is isolated CBD only,
Yep.
isolated cannabinoids, isolated Delta 8 and Delta 9. And so they were asking me my concerns about this and what do I progressively see going forward, or what do I see in fruition, if you will, of what I've seen in Oregon. I've seen a lot in Oregon about these things that are already happening here. I've seen already happen in Oregon, to the point to where if things didn't change, it could have went in a really bad direction for patients. By synthesizing cannabinoids and saying Delta 8 is more beneficial than THCA or limonene or pinene or flavonoids or terpenes is something that's absurd. Those conversations being held by political powers that are in a position of power who have no idea what's going on with this plant, that are one, not farmers. A lot of them are probably not patients, and if they consume, they're doing it in a closet and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so what they're doing is not listening to people that have a plethora for this cannabis plant. And so by
and they're not involving the community.
No.
Can I just say that they're all these calls are by invite only. I'm lucky to be there, and then I don't get invited later on because I invite too many people, right? Like that's how this goes. And then, they say, okay, submit submit in writing. Okay. Submit in writing. Take your time to help us. Okay, we will. And then, it's like, community meeting announced 12 hours prior. Nobody knows that these things are happening. And in the room, there's no patients. And there are industry people who are living it every single day and working with people, real people.
So they want us to call in, they want us to write, they want us to email. I say... It's
a program for us.
Yeah, but also I say bullshit with that. And so with that being said, your activism, a lot of people, I'll share a little story with you guys, okay? And then I want to go on to this next. I want to ask Sarah this question real quick, is that when I was at the forefront of this medical marijuana program in Oregon, I know a lot of people say, Tim, this is in Oregon, stop, okay, whatever, shut up, I'm not going to say that. This is the way it is, okay? And it's not about Oregon or Utah or California or any other, it's about the situation at hand that is happening. So it's that specific thing that was happening, and what I seen was medical marijuana patients yearning for this plant. They were back then they were getting ripped off from their growers. Their growers you had a grower, caregiver, and a patient. The caregiver's job was to transfer your cannabis from point A to point B and be in conjunction, in cahoots with that medical marijuana program. Your grower's sole job was to grow your product for you. Those were not the grower's plants. Those were the patient's plants. The patients then would not have to reimburse. And if they did, because of the reimbursement, would only be for the cost of growth and not for profit. So this was happening in Oregon, and a lot of people were getting ripped off. There were growers taking advantage of sick people. They were starting to charge people for their product when it was their plants. They didn't want to give their plants back to their patients, etc., etc. I saw a problem. Central Oregon Normal at the time was being run by a group of individuals with Jerry Richmond and Vanessa Richmond, and I'll say their names because if they're out there, be careful of those people, because they were embezzling money and personal information from Central Oregon Normal at the time. We exposed them and we got them kicked out of Oregon. So with that being said, I was complaining a lot. I was talking like we're doing right now. We're activating. And what happened was a guy in a wheelchair actually stood up and he said, okay, you've been talking, we've been talking. And I stood up and I said, I'm sick and tired of people talking and not doing anything. And he said, okay, big mouth. And that's something she likes to call me.
He is the biggest mouth.
She goes, okay, big mouth. Hey, and I don't get mad when people tell me that because my parents told me that when I was a kid, and it's true. So, but anyways, he goes, okay, big mouth. He goes, you've been coming here for the last 3 months. What are you going to do? If you care so much, why don't you do something about it? So I did something about it. And what I did is Measure 74 was upon us. It was a month before this conversation that I had with this gentleman and this group of individuals. And Measure 74 was allow safe access for dispensaries to be, put in motion so people could go buy medical cannabis for the reimbursement cost of growth. Well, that failed because of the organization. And so what I did was I found a gray area. I found loopholes in the system. Yes, I probably could have been prosecuted. I probably could have went to jail. I expected to go to jail. I opened up the first dispensary ever in that area to allow these sick people to acquire medicinal cannabis. It wasn't illegal. I was in a gray area. And because of that, I was able for 5 other dispensaries to open during that same time. And in 5 years, recreational cannabis came upon us in Oregon. And now there's 45 dispensaries in that area. So it starts somewhere. It always starts somewhere. It starts by the conversation. It starts from the top. But that only takes us so far. So I want to know, Sarah, what are you doing to help this situation?
Tell us
right
about
here in Utah
that.
right now.
Yeah, I mean, you were just having a conversation about what we plan on doing
Yeah, we plan on
against the
doing some
opposition.
things. Yeah. So we're planning an action on the south steps of the Capitol on February 15th from about 10 a.m. until 1 p.m.
Okay,
during-
February
Mark your
15th.
calendars. February 15th.
10 a.m.
From 10 a.m. to 1
to
p.m.
1 p.m.
Mark
And longer
your
if we
calendar.
can get more organizations to block out time. But as my organization, like as me as an individual, I can only ask for that 2 to 3 hour block of time before I have to pay a big rental fee.
Right.
So if we can get more, and like I'm planning on blocking these out throughout the legislative session. There's a live legislative session happening during that time. They're going to be in there voting, and we're going to be out on the steps making a ruckus.
Right.
So what we want to do is we want to bring forward witness impact statements, and whether you know it or not, you're a witness and you have been impacted. Whether you are neutral, whether your neighbor's sister's dad, whatever, you know, however this has impacted your life, you should be writing an impact statement. We're going to be collecting a whole bunch of impact statements from patients, growers, retailers, producers, just you name it. How are you involved? QMPs, nurses, people who've been denied access, people whose parents died before they could get access. You know, how have you been impacted? And we're going to be bringing those stories because we realized during the pandemic that not everybody can go up to the Capitol with us. So we want to bring your stories to the Capitol. We're going to be broadcasting. There will be posters. There will be screens with projections if you want to come down and record a video message. But really the ultimate goal of this meeting, as the first of many, is going to be presenting solutions to these barriers that people have encountered in their individual. Like I'll be going forward as a patient first and foremost. I'll be going forward as a caregiver.
A mama.
Yeah, as a caregiver, as
A
a mother.
mama.
Yeah.
I'll be going forward as a retail permit holder. I'll be going forward as a processor's permit holder. You know, and like how all of these things have impacted, and like the changing of this legislation, how it will impact, and what solutions I think going forward would be best for me in my situation. Me in my situation is not going to be the same solution for everybody else. People are going to get mad at me and my solution. That's why we're asking everyone to contribute what they think their solution. What is your solution? What would be a solution that would fit your situation? And let us know a little bit about you,
Yeah.
your
Within
witness
that
impact
witness
statement.
impact statement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
with
that
that
we know
impact
why that
statement,
solution
make
is
sure.
important
Yeah.
to you.
Do you have a template or anything that we can
We're gonna be
out?
releasing like a series
Yeah.
of surveys over the next week.
Cool.
Cool.
So it'll be survey format, but it'll just be like, you know, tell us about your this, that, or the other.
Experience, are you coming at like as a
Right.
patient? But hopefully we're gonna try and get a survey together so that we can present that to them
Right.
and let them know, hey, we did take a survey, and of this many people, this is what they have said that they would like to see changed, or
Yeah.
something
Right.
that they would like
And it
to
might
see
not be my
improved.
solution. It might not be
Yeah.
our solution.
Yeah.
But if it
It
is
will
the
be
next
everyone's.
solution, the one that works the most good for the most amount of people, then that's what we'll present. And
That's awesome.
we're then gonna break off into like smaller actions, and we're gonna plan those around days when they have like Doctor's Day on the Hill or
Yeah.
Police Chief's Day on the Hill. We're gonna go in small groups and we're gonna present information about how on Educators Day that they should be rewriting the whole program for DARE to make kids aware that this is not an illicit drug, that this is a medicine for some people. You know, and we should re-educate the kids. We should start normalizing that conversation at a young age. On Police Chief's Day, I plan to go there and demand that they educate every single officer.
Officers.
And what I really just have to say, like the number one demand and the one that I will not budge on being at the top of the list is that Utah as a state should expunge any nonviolent marijuana related charge across the board. And that's not something that's negotiable to me at all. And so we're just going to be going forward and making splashes here and there at the
Yeah.
Capitol all throughout the legislative
That's
session.
cool. What do you need from your community?
I need organizations to come and block out more time at the Capitol with me, because I can't do it all as an individual before they're going to start charging me rent.
So this is the time for all QMPs, pharmacies, people who work at the
CBD
pharmacies,
stores.
CBD stores,
CBD
everybody.
companies.
Farms,
If you
anything.
if you care about what you're actually
Garden
doing
supply
here
stores.
in Utah and Salt Lake City, you need to stand up and help everybody. It's not just about what we're talking about, like she said, because not everybody's goal and aspirations is Sarah's or mine or Autumn's or Carly or Tyson's or anybody else that out there. Even if you don't agree with what we're talking about, and there's this little divide going on in the cannabis industry right now in Utah, which in anything there always is. We need to put all that thing aside, and we need to all come forth and start helping now, because if we don't help now, we're going to lose everything we
have to
ever
work
fought
together.
for. And I'm not talking about losing our medical dispensaries or losing this or using that. I'm talking about losing the right and the freedom and the advocacy of what we're going to be projecting forward for new medical marijuana patients to acquire their medical cannabis cards, for these so-called criminals that are in jail for growing a plant, for consuming a plant, for possessing a plant, and then people who are watching and looking with a fine-tooth comb. We need to act professional. We need to come together, and this is the time to do it. I know it's going to be cold outside, and I know that you have to take time from your busy schedule, but you owe it to yourself as a medical patient. You owe it to yourself as a facilitator. You owe it to yourself as an advocate and an investor, or somebody who owns something, or even if you aren't even involved, just support the medical community. Because I'm telling you right now, if we let other things or other entities get in the way and corporations take over this, I have seen something in Oregon I thought that I would never see. And if it happens here in Utah, you're going to wish that you were standing there on those steps, yelling and screaming for these things.
Oh, I don't remember. I'll post a link in the
We're going to post a
comments.
link in the comments to a video
Yeah.
about the cannabis industry and
It's huge.
what is really going on in the cannabis industry across the whole United States.
We have literally, if you guys want to look up something where it all started, go to where Steve Cubby was, him and Dennis Perrone were in charge of Prop 215 in California. They were two men that systematically put forth this medical marijuana program in California, really pushed forward. Dennis Perrone passed away, HIV, a couple years ago. He's greatly missed. One of the most beautiful human beings I've ever seen about medical cannabis. And then Steve Cubby also has some health issues right now that he's going through. Him and Nobia, they're in Tahoe. But what I seen is that he talked about the marijuana mafia. The marijuana mafia was on Pot TV. Look it up. It's called Marijuana Mafia, Pot TV. And what they talk about is this internal situation of a group of people that have unwritten rule of elected individuals who are in charge of the concentrate companies, in charge of dispensaries, the majority of them, seed companies, etc., etc. It's our own kind that are trying to take over and do sneaky things inside of the industry that will blow your freaking mind, what she's talking about. So look into that and understand that we need to start fixing a lot of the things that are going on in our own community.
And this goes even deeper, right? Like I said, this is about us being able to, grow our own food and to preserve our own seeds.
Yeah.
You know, like
Posted link.
We saw a lot of hemp farmers last year fail, guys.
ooh,
We got a lot
let's
of
talk
people
about
from-
hemp for a little bit.
So we're at the hour mark
CBD.
right now.
Next time, guys.
We're at the hour mark
We're at the hour
already.
mark right now. Yep.
Is that all we
Wow,
have
time
to talk
is.
about?
We can talk all day.
We
Josh
can
Owen
decide-
says he loves us and would love to attend the church.
Oh yeah.
You
Great.
guys come to
Take
church.
More the merrier.
Come to church.
Bring
We
the
have
lovely
have
lady in
sermons every time we congregate.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We definitely have the preacher
Testimony
preaching.
meetings, but we don't usually fast around here.
Yeah. I fast,
here. I
but
do too.
whew, I had a rough one the other day.
Mm.
Yeah, I almost passed out.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
But
been a
I
while
just,
since I did that.
well, I stood there and I was like, okay, if I'm going to pass out, do it. Let me see. And then I acted like I died. I went, like,
That's what brought you
melodramatic.
back.
And I was like,
You
"Ah,
surrendered."
no, passing out."
I see it.
I just didn't see everyone do it. I was like, go ahead, pass out. I dare you to do it. Come on.
Oh man.
And then I felt real bad, and all of a sudden, I was like, okay, I'm not passing out.
I feel better. I just needed a moment.
I just needed to eat.
I do want to, in the segue of hemp, I do want to tell a quick story. I had it on my mind for a couple weeks now.
Let's do it.
I was at a market. We do a lot of community events, and
thought you didn't say
I talk to a lot of people, and I hear a lot of stories. A lot.
We
And
didn't even get to talk to
It's the
Tim
most
about this
beautiful. Nope, I haven't.
We were
talked to
supposed
him
to, we wanted to talk to you
been
about it, but
holidays.
it's been holidays.
Lots
And
of.
this
Yeah,
is-
don't
this
try
is
to get a hold of Tyson and Autumn during the holidays.
It's really not like
No,
that.
it's not. It's mostly like our kids just
Yelling, yeah.
Yelling.
The poodle.
Eating lots
The
of food.
poodle
All they
eats.
want to do is eat.
Yeah, they just eat all the time,
They do not fast. at all.
and they don't
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways, I hear a lot of stories, and that's what I'm so grateful for, and I'm so excited to hear that you're sharing patient stories, because that's, you know, what we live off of.
Yeah.
We get together in our meetings, and we talk about stories. Like, it's the most powerful thing, and this story was powerful. It was I think before Christmas, feeling those holiday vibes, you know. Beautiful market. Laura and Michaela, Daybreak Market, they ran. They moved it. They went against all odds to get this market going, just to bring our community together one last time for the holiday season. Due to COVID mandates, the indoor one couldn't run. So it was just a really beautiful time of community coming together. And this guy walks up and he's talking to me, and he's like, yeah, he's asking me all these questions. And you know, normally people either like kind of don't really know what CBD is, or they like have used it but they don't really know what for, but they like, you know, there's all this like, you know, uncertainty. And this guy knew what he was talking about. He had very specific questions, and he was using intellect and verbiage that was advanced. And I said, sir, I gotta ask you, you know, I don't get these questions from everybody, and like, you know, what's going on here? And he says, well, I can't remember if it was a liver or kidney transplant. I think it's kidney. He said, I'm a kidney transplant patient. No, it was liver. It was liver. One of the two. I don't know. Anyways, he says, I'm a transplant patient, and I have to be really careful, and I actually have to get the COA and get it to the VA because of my transplant meds and my anti-rejection meds. And if there are certain molds,
AKA botrytis.
it actually like is a very high fatality, you know, for me if I just consume the wrong type of product. And he said it's really, and the reason that I'm like asking you all these questions right now is, he said, because 2 weeks ago my ex-sister-in-law, who's also a transplant patient, died because she took a product without getting it checked. And I've been interested in using it, but now I have reservations. Whew. That took a lot to get out.
Wow.
And that is why we are doing this.
That is so unfortunate, because we've just come across something that's kind of similar to that as well. We were talking about it earlier today, like the labeling and the packaging and how they're misrepresenting what actually is in the product. And I'm not going to mention any names out there, but there is this company that states that they are a CBD company and that their product does have CBD in it, but on the label all you can see is just a bunch of dyes and alcohol, and like it doesn't make any sense. And it's not fair to people out there who are consuming or taking or using these products not knowing what is in them. That is one of the biggest things that we have been trying to fight for, is just at least knowing what your products are and knowing what's in them. That's why COAs are so important.
But let's talk about that for a minute, though, because I want to talk about why farming is so important. Me and Tim, I went around with Tim and got to visit a lot of farms this year. Me and Tyson got to go. We got to work on different farms, seeing all kinds of different genetics, all kinds of different farming techniques, everything.
We saw it, yeah.
And I was blown away, because I just can't believe how flawed the system for that is.
Yeah, that's what,
Because
crazy.
you can get a COA on something and it can be molding in a barn. And then that COA is presented to me as the consumer, and it says, this is what's in your product. But actually what's in my product is mold, because that COA was taken before they left it and let it mold.
in there.
Exactly.
You know, so okay, and in Oregon, this is a huge deal out there. Tim always talks to me about this and says Oregon weed is all moldy.
Well, it is. There's no regulation. There's no mandatory mold testing for hemp. There is in medical cannabis, which is granted, so there should be, but the recreational market, all they do is moisture content. So they feel that if a moisture content is in between A and Z, that it's okay, or percentages, if you will, with numbers, that it's okay for you to consume. So just like the agricultural departments of Oregon or Utah do, is that there are certain amount of molds that can be inside of these products and or pesticides and or whatever that's deemed fit for human consumption. So there's no regulation on these farmers. And what's happening is Oregon was the second leading producer of hemp last year and the year before, right next to Colorado. And a lot of this product is going to the East Coast, coming here, it's going there, and processors are processing this stuff. Anything you process is concentrated then threefold. So people say, oh no, Tim, the alcohol kills the mold. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
So alcohol does not kill mold. Basically what happens is when you rinse a product like hemp or biomass, it'll raise the brown mold of botrytis to the top and then it'll sink down. And if anybody doesn't know what botrytis is, it's a fungus. And it's a bacteria that grows internally inside of the plant when it's at its optimal acidic form of profile. So as this plant starts to cure or dry, it becomes acidic. As it becomes acidic, and it can even start on the vine before it even gets cut down, but more and specifically when it's sitting in those agricultural bags. So what happens is that this moisture content is accumulated through moisture and heat, and through the influctuation of heat and moisture on a regular basis creates botrytis. Botrytis can spread within a matter of hours, and with that being said, when you cook this stuff or you rinse it in this alcohol, those concentrates that you're consuming in your pens or in your edibles that haven't been properly tested with a certificate of analysis is the reasoning why you're ending up with autoimmune deficiency disorders and or getting more sick than you already are. There's a reasoning why all these products have been just stripped from the shelves here in Utah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. All of them do because they're hemp products and none of them have been registered or they haven't been tested.
It is really, really hard, guys, to get a product in a bottle like this and get it registered to the state of Utah.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain.
Really hard.
And there's a lot of companies out there not caring, and they're telling you that there's CBD or hemp in this product, and granted, so there very well may be, but how do you know that this product is thorough for what you're using it for?
Well, also too, like, okay, this is the thing, you know, when I first started out making tinctures, you know, I got told so many different things. I was so amazed, and that's why I put on the first symposium, is because I was amazed at all the different stories I was getting. I'm like, how do all these processors in one little place, or how do all these farmers in one little space all have so many different stories? Like, and I seen that, you know, the success rate. Let's talk about doors closing, you know, farms not being, you know, on their next go around, and I don't know where I was going, guys.
What the hell?
What was wrong with you?
I don't know. It just left me. Honestly, I heard a noise in my mind.
So I think what Autumn's talking about is that
they would tell me, oh, you know, this product's been like remediated from all pesticides. You know, I'd see the crude. I'd look at the thing, and it would, you know, the crude had pesticides, and then it was taken to distillate, and they get all the pesticides out, and it's a clean product, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know about this, guys, because I'm super sensitive, and when I take a product that has been processed weirdly, I get a skin reaction. I've told Tim about this. I can, like, immediately, I just start itching. Like, it's the weirdest thing.
You're not the only one. I do that when I smoke cannabis that has PGRs, plant growth regulators, or pesticides in them, and I can tell if they've sprayed these things on the plants, especially indoor cannabis. When you spray, it's in a controlled environment. As soon as I take an inhalated, vaporize the smoke, I get itchy. I can feel it. I have a sensitivity to heavy metals and these things because of my diet and my awareness of what a thorough product is. And I know a lot of other people out there are wondering why their skin starts to itch.
So I've seen COAs.
Yeah.
And I've seen I know they're real COAs. Okay, I'm not getting duped. I've seen this is where it came from. This is where it was, you know, I've seen the thing. And it makes me itch. It says there's no pesticides in there.
Right.
You know, it's non-detect. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this.
Well, the chromatography equipment that a lot of technicians are using are not modified or set up to capture all these things. And unfortunately, we just don't know enough about the plant yet because of the non-research and development that's going on. And what's happening is that this chromatography equipment isn't picking up everything. And then you get this product tested, it goes from facility to storage, and inside of storage and when a lot of this happens. So there's this little gray area where a lot of times processors don't even know, unknowingly, or maybe they do, and the investors like run it anyways. And I've personally sat there and seen processors and investors talk and say, there's mold in that bag, what are we gonna do? Well, we just spent $150,000 on that product. Well, what are you gonna do? We gotta run it. And I'm sitting there looking at both of them, not saying a word, thinking, did I just hear what I thought I heard? They're going to produce all of this product knowing that there is botrytis or any kind of pesticide in there, and you can smell it, or maybe you see some rat droppings in there, maybe you see something going on, and they still process it for profit, and this thing needs to stop. So, and the only
those
way
are the
to
products you buy in Smith's.
yeah,
okay?
and some.
So
There's a lot of CBD stores right now. I can tell you, go in there, there's a lot of stuff that's
I
not
haven't been in
registered.
there.
Okay, there's not. And if there's not things that aren't registered and you can't see a COA, a current one, don't use it. Don't consume it. Safety's always got to be number one. It's always those number one things, you know. So, but anyways,
I just wanted to share that story and end with that because, again, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's exactly
We're here
why
because
we're
of
here.
people and what people are experiencing, and I think that it's just good to congregate and communicate regularly with like-minded people. And I want to thank Sarah and Carly again for having us here.
Yes.
We love what you're doing.
We love what you're doing. Thank
Yep.
you for allowing us, on your journey, and thanks for making us part of your journey.
Yeah, this beautiful space. Look at this. This is
Yeah.
like,
This literally came from just like a bunch of old hippies just sitting around
I'm not old.
vaping.
I am.
We were vaping back in the day. Vaping. She said, "Hey, we should start a CBD company." Okay, let's do it, Sarah.
Give me 2 years. Give me 2 years.
Yeah, and here we are. We get to host these awesome podcast shows. So.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
this,
it, and congratulations! It's
Thank you.
awesome. It's an honor to be part of the first one. I look forward to many, many more from you.
had to be.
So-
You guys, were the first to come to my mind just because I've been blessed to come back to Salt Lake City and be part of her symposium. That's what really, well, it was back in the Canna days before pre-pandemic, but then I entered into the symposium, and we haven't looked back since. So I'm just really proud to be sitting next to a strong group of individuals that are like-minded, and we're going to make things happen. And we can't do it by ourselves, so we need your help. There's going to be
Yes.
more of these podcasts.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing mobile. Tyson and I will be doing predominantly a lot of them. I hope Autumn will be able to be involved with a lot of them as well. But if she's
Yes.
not, Tyson and I will be bringing on specific guests. We're going to be talking about, different subjects, if you will. So it's just not going to be talking about what we're talking about today. We're going to just keep going
Growing,
forward,
processing.
growing, processing. I would like to.
Dosing,
I'm going to
mental
start.
health.
Yeah, mental health,
Mental health is
processing.
huge.
mental health.
Maybe we can get some processors on and ask them the questions that they don't want to answer, and
Strong arm
strong arm them a
into,
little bit, yeah.
giving us the information.
And then also I want to start doing strain reviews. So with me getting my card, I want to start going to these pharmacies, and I want to start exposing these flowers in a positive way.
Yep.
To start doing strain profile. I want to bring on patients. I think Tyson and I already talked about this, but I don't want to put you on blast. But and I haven't even contacted this person, but I would like to have Utah's first medical marijuana patient on our episode 2, which is Mario Wana. If he's watching,
Love
¿Qué
you.
pasó, Mario Wana?
yeah, Mario suffers from his own disabilities, and I'll let him talk about those things because of HIPAA laws, of course, but he's a medical marijuana patient, the first. He's a very firm activist in what he does. He works
Does
at a
not
pharmacy.
waver. Yep, he does not waver.
Yep,
at all.
and he doesn't hold back on what he has to say, and he is a true medical patient. He knows the ins and outs of the medical marijuana program for any kind of medical marijuana card holders and those who have just been stripping of their paperwork. Cannot get their rights to go into these pharmacies right now and get this wonderful medical cannabis. Hopefully Mario can project us in a way that's going to show us about how to get into this program and how to stay strong and where to go to get these products and what to look for. He works at a dispensary here in Utah, and so I'd like for him to be on the next podcast. And if we have to come to him, we will, because
Yeah.
we're mobile.
We are.
Yeah, the mobile church.
We're
You know,
gonna
we
be
seen
going
it.
some places.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
right. So,
Yeah, I'm
anyways,
excited. I'm excited to meet all of you who, you know, are listening to this and like, you know, keep tuning in. Keep showing up. We're gonna keep showing up. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing.
and we're going to be
We
doing
want you to
farming
join
too.
us.
We're going to talk about farming.
Yes, we are.
Okay, we're going to talk about growing. So I have a wealth of experience that could help a lot of people out there doing their own grows, far and wide, keeping it legal, of course. And you know, we can teach people on how to be safe. Again, strain profiles, the endocannabinoid system. The list goes on and on. So these episodes are just going to keep on going. And if you don't watch them, cool. Turn people on. If it's not your plethora, we're not here for those that want to be negative. We're here for those that are positive and want to learn about medical cannabis. And if that's you,
We want to
tune
inspire you
in. Yeah, absolutely.
to activate,
Yeah.
just like these ladies have just talked
Yep.
about.
And real quick, please submit your.
Your impact witness statement.
Yes.
I don't know if you want to
Witness
do
impact statement, sorry.
by email.
You
Yeah.
can, you know what,
What do you
we can
think?
forward them
Yeah,
to, yeah?
yeah,
So forward them
absolutely.
to us at Beehive Buds. You can do Beehive Hemp Symposium.
Well, and
If you're a fan of Tim, send them over anyway, and we'll direct you to the right place.
and if you want to be a part of it,
But
please reach
come
out
here.
and see how
You
you
guys
can
are
get
going to be doing
involved.
videos. It sounds like you're going to
Yeah,
be
we're
like
gonna be
taking
taking
live testing.
videos. Yeah,
Stop
and
by
we're
the
gonna have
OG
people-
place.
And as soon as
Yeah.
I get
Support
off
local Utah.
my
Shop in Utah.
butt and get my GoPro going, we're going to be live there February 15th.
Yes.
February 15th.
February 15th. Put it in your calendar.
Valentine's
to
Day
1 p.m.
with
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you'll
we'll
still
be
have
there.
room for dinner afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're gonna go out celebrating afterwards.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. And you know how we do it.
Hard. We do it hard.
How
Show
hard?
them your
Show us.
ankle.
Show us how hard. How hard do you go?
Shall we say
She
bye?
hurt her foot.
It's all like.
Just look what she
yeah.
did.
I'm gonna rub it
Sorry.
after.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All
I'm
right,
still
everybody.
here because you
Have
guys
a
are
beautiful
awesome.
new year.
Happy
Be
New Year,
blessed.
y'all.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
Utah's
Love
first
the app.
cannabis church.
Utah Cannabis Church.
Fuck
We
yeah.
really appreciate
Here we go.
Come at
On
us.
to the next one.
Mark your
Peace.
calendars.
Yeah.